Cool. So we've just opened the doors and here they come. Seeing a few familiar faces.
Yes.
Usual suspects.
There are some usual suspects here. There's a Jaylan Langridge here, who I don't know, never heard of.
Okay. So we'll give everybody a minute or so to join in, and then we kind of pick up on where we left off last week, looking at the whole crazy world of agentic commerce and SEO. And where do we fit in, Sylvia? Where do we as SEOs fit into this mix? And how are our roles going to change over the coming months? So it's got to be the biggest talking point.
Yes. So as I said, everyone is fearing that we're going to lose our jobs. I think that fear has gone away after kind of the initial thoughts of AI is going to take over. Yeah. I think now we're much more, realistic.
And I think you're right. And I think AI, in one hand, is making my job so much easier and so much better and allowing me to do so much more. But the pace of change is so fast that all the time I've saved is being utilized by learning all the new stuff that's coming in, which is crazy.
When you think you've caught up with everything, along comes something new in the news saying, "Oh, you know what AI can do now?" And you're like,
keeps us on our toes, keeps the grey matter running Sylvia. So I think we got a ton of people in now. So without further ado, let's get into the webinar. And I guarantee in this one, if you've not been to our webinars before, we're going to show you definitive proof of storefronts actually moving away from websites onto other surfaces. And we've got a real world example to show you today. So what we're talking about is the reality is happening right now. So I'm John Earnshaw. I'm the Chief Product Evangelist at PyData Metrics. And once again, I'm so happy to be joined by Sylvia. Introduce yourself, Sylvia.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Sylvia. I'm SEO lead. I think we need to change that slide. I'm SEO lead at Pi. Yeah. And I've been in Pi for, I was going to say, as long as I remember. But no, it's been, I think, 7 years. So we've gone through thick and thin, John and myself, but we are both very passionate about what the future holds for us.
We are, Sylvia. So thank you for being here. And I'm going to change your title. Now, underneath that, I'm going to write, knows more about SEO than anyone else I know. That's why you're here, Sylvia. So, usual housekeeping, guys. We would love to hear from you. If you haven't already done so, tell us where you're from. Where are you dialing in from today? Hopefully somewhere sunnier than London or Brighton in your case, Sylvia. And if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, any thoughts on your mind, just drop them into is it the questions or the chat? I can't see which. I think it's the questions window. And also, last month, guys, we had a few technical glitches. The screen kept going. So from next month, we are upgrading to a Zoom webinar platform. That's going to be so much better. But for today, thumbs up, hearts, emojis, comments, questions. Keep them coming.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Holly Lloyd. So in terms of the flow of today, we already know that search itself, in the words of Google's Prabhakar Raghavan, is a journey of exploration and discovery. And I think today's webinar is going to be a little bit of a journey of exploration, discovery. We're hopefully going to learn some new things and walk away with some ideas. And at the back end of this, you're going to walk away with a tangible roadmap of 5 things that you need to start doing right now to survive, to thrive in the world of agentic commerce. But we're going to begin with the shift. The first thing I want to say, it's obvious. We've reached this inflection point where the angle of the curve is changing. And this reinforces Google's adherence to what we are all experiencing now in search as a paradigm shift. It's true, Sylvia. How is your world today as an SEO compared to 18 months ago?
Oh, God. Compared to, I use AI so much for everything. And I also have to, understand the performance of a site from an AI performance or LLM performance point of view, moving away from the keywords to, much more kind of complex queries and follow-ups, and everything has changed a lot. But thank God that we have some LLMs there that really help us doing our job, because otherwise I wouldn't have enough hours in the day.
None of us would. Thank goodness for our AI assistants. Thank goodness. And I think today, the more you look around at what's going on, and the more that you read and the more information you consume, it's really obvious that we are right now entering a world, okay, where commerce won't happen on websites. Okay, some of it will, but a lot of it is going to be passed out of websites into trusted conversations. And you know what? We're going to see this today. The platforms racing to host these conversations may, and I say may become more important than the retailers themselves. I mean, this is true. And I think today we're all going to believe that. Anyone that doubts this is the case, then drop it into the questions and challenge us. But let's hear what the experts have to say. And this expert, Rubal Birwadka, who is the head of growth products and partnerships at Visa, not us, this is what he said. In 2026, AI agents won't just assist your shopping, they will complete your purchases. That's coming from Visa. And every other payment platform is saying exactly the same thing. And we're talking about two things here. We're talking about assistance with shopping based on our personal preferences plugged in, and the completion of the purchase. And we talked a little bit about the Universal Commerce Protocol last month, and that's going to enable that to happen. But here's another expert with something super interesting to say. And this is coming from Mike Edmonds, the VP of Agentic Commerce at PayPal. With Agentic Commerce, shopping becomes a conversation, not a search. Where have I heard that before? Where have you heard that before, Sylvia?
I've never heard those words being uttered by you before ever in my life.
Who was it 10 years ago stood up there in Dallas and said every digital interaction that should be a conversation will become one? And you know what? The VP of Agentic Commerce absolutely agrees. So this week, unless you've been hiding under a rock or you've been lost in the world of AI, you will not have missed this. Debenhams Group has partnered with PayPal, is going inside PayPal to launch an AI shopping assistant and experience that's going to allow you to do a number of things. Discover products conversationally, like this, by having a chat. Get personalized recommendations based on your purchase history. It knows how much you spend. It knows what you like. Can I ask you, do you use PayPal, Sylvia?
It's my main platform of payment. I've been using it for the past 20 years, I believe. And I trust PayPal I'd rather use PayPal than use a credit card.
And you said trust. So I'll just log into my PayPal account here. Now, I'm glad you said that. You trust it.
I trust it.
And if in doubt, when somebody says, would you like to pay by your card or PayPal or something, or maybe Apple Pay, I always go PayPal. So,
yeah, even before Apple Pay. I trust it more than Apple Pay.
Yeah. And interestingly, when it comes to Debenhams, already 16% of the group's sales are processed through the PayPal app. 16%. I mean, that's extraordinary. And my question to you, Sylvia, if you already use PayPal regularly, if you wanted to buy something from Debenhams, and they stock loads of different cool brands, would you go to your website or would you do it through PayPal, where you can actually have an assistant who knows you, help you find what's right for you?
I mean, if everyone wants to have an assistant, John. None of us, as far as I know, none of us are rich, so we can't have personal assistants and stylists and all that. But we're going to have that now for free.
We will, and as we're going to see, Sylvia, people already are using these assistants to reduce friction in transaction without even realizing it. Christopher Zimmerman has a question. Why PayPal versus Apple Pay? Christopher, PayPal was first. Apple Pay is around the corner. Okay, Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. You open PayPal today and you scroll down to the bottom. You've got modules here, Deliveroo. I've got Chili's, JD Sports. It's already there with 10% discount. How long before I can have a chat about the trainers I want to buy? Sorry, Sylvia?
Sorry. I prefer Sports Direct to JD Sports, John.
Of course.
But it's okay.
So we're going to have different modules in here, multiple services in PayPal, and then multiply PayPal 10x, 20x, Apple Pay, Revolut, other surfaces. What's to stop them offering this same experience when the friction of the purchase and the personalization is already removed? This is how it's going to work. Okay, customer, that's you, Sylvia. You fancy a new outfit or something, open your PayPal app, and you'll probably be presented with personal offers already. You have the assistant in there. It's not a little person. The assistant is just a layer. It'll ask you clarifying questions. It knows your shopping history, Sylvia. It knows the color you like when it comes to, I don't know, different items of clothing. It knows your shoe size. It knows everything. It'll read those signals. It'll make recommendations that are personal. It's like going shopping with somebody. And then it can link to all these AI tools, because what PayPal's actually done, they've launched this whole suite of agentic commerce services in readiness to open the gates so everybody can come in. I mean, that's a game changer. So we're skipping Google out of it. We're skipping Debenhams out of it. And we're going to PayPal. That's extraordinary, isn't it? By the end of this year, 20x, 30x is going to be everywhere. There are going to be surfaces everywhere in different applications, and every surface, every conversation is a chance to meet the customer in that micro moment. It's no longer about Google. So as far as PayPal's concerned, I call it the big collapse, okay? Because historically up to now, Google owned the discovery. You wanted something, you Googled it. Unless you were Gen Z, you TikTok it or whatever. So, so Google owned discovery. Retailers, through their content, owned the evaluation. How does this compare? All those words we've crafted, Sylvia. Helpful content guidelines, all those other guidelines, reviews guidelines. So Google had the discovery, retail owned the evaluation, and the payment providers owned the checkout. Yep. But now it's all collapsed into one conversational surface. The big collapse. You heard it here first. I should have put that in the slide.
The big collapse.
Literally. And for me, it's reduced any worry. Friction. There's no friction. Yeah. Do you think you're going to spend more money in these frictionless environments, Sylvia?
To any question about money, the answer is yes, I will spend more.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this.
Me too. I hope my agent has a better is more financially responsible than me. That's my highest hope.
I think your agent will be, because you can get it plugged into all of your details. Certainly PayPal, it'll know how much you're spending. So yeah, it's super interesting. But to benefits for Debenhams themselves, there are 3 standout: immediate distribution to a large active wallet user base. That's me. Okay, do I walk into? No, I can't walk into. Do I go to their website? No, I never even thought about it. But I tell you what, I spend a lot of time in PayPal, and if that door opens for me, I'm in. And if it's appropriate, which it will be because it's personalized, I'm going to be spending money. So we've got a faster path to purchase and a new discovery surface. We're no longer optimizing for lists. We're no longer optimizing for Google. We're optimizing for conversations wherever they are happening. It's a whole new world. And you know what? Yeah, discovery. Yeah. And discovery is the. Yeah. Go on.
No. I think we keep. But I think at the end of the day, we have to meet our customers wherever they are, and by ways of conversational interactions rather than keyword and content. It's completely changed.
Yeah. How quickly we're going to forget the past And admittedly, we're all going to go through some pain as we go through this paradigm shift, because we're going to have to change what we're looking at when it comes to ranking and tracking. Do we care about position 80, 70? No. We're going to talk more in a bit about focusing on the value.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it counts.
Because you can really understand whether your content is performing better for places that you cannot yet control or don't have enough data for, by way of understanding how well you're performing organically. And for that, you only need the top 30, for example, positions. That should be kind of a crystal ball. Am I doing well for this? Because this will be, what I'm doing will probably be applicable to, you know, those conversational spaces outside of Google.
Completely. And I just think about the language that you or I are using is now so different to the language that we would be using in a webinar from 18 months ago. That's pretty much, I would say redundant, but no, the old stuff still stands. We'll talk. I know you're very insistent about that, so rightly so. So. Yeah. And I think in this slide, for me, like, discovery is key. Because when we used to talk about SEO, we used to say, you know, if your site is really well optimized, people will come in, and as long as your linking is done correctly, people will find and discover things they weren't even looking for and spend more money. And that's going to happen here when it's powered by an assistant. So if PayPal conversion improves Debenhams, this will 100% open up that surface to multiple merchants. It's inevitable. This is a space to watch as it rolls out day by day. And this is just happening in the US to start with. But it's living proof that the digital storefront is moving beyond the traditional website. And yeah, Apple Pay will be next. Okay. And I just added this in because when we have different surfaces like PayPal doing it, Apple Pay doing it, Revolut doing it, X, Y, and Z doing it, we may face this future battleground where it's not going to be about who ranks first, but it's who gets asked first. Which conversation will I dive into? Because those conversations are no longer just Google's world. And then I come back to remind us all what Google said in September. AI mode is a paradigm shift. And I'm really worried that some people are kind of ignoring this shift. Some people are clinging on to the old blue links that really are going to vanish. Yeah, you'll see blue links, but they'll be in conversations. And that conversation is where we need to focus. So we're going to see this move from a frontier experience to an experience that people enjoy. And on that note, we've got a question for everyone. When the conversation AI mode becomes default in the coming months, I predicted by end of March, how prepared are you for that conversation? And I'd say in the context of an SEO. I'm glad nobody said it. I hope that doesn't happen, because that ain't a possibility. We need to see what happens.
We can bury our heads on the sand.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned, John, about the frontier experience, because I was going to ask you about that. Do you think we have just passed that frontier experience with everything that we know now, that what's happening with Agentic and PayPal and all that? Have we moved past that frontier? Are we in a much more controlled space?
I think we've gone past the crazy frontier Wild West experience of last summer into the end. We're still there, but what's happening in the background, this new flip into agentic, and all of these rails are being laid. All of these rails are being laid down. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet, Sylvia. 64% of people are waiting to see what happens. Oh, guys, don't wait. Don't wait, because it's happening. It's happening. But that's why we're here, I guess, Sylvia. That's why we're here, isn't it? So the other point I wanted to mention, all of this isn't happening because of AI. Search changed because people demand a conversation, and conversations are replacing queries. When you look around, we got self-driving cars coming to London. They've been self-driving in China for years. That's AI. Nobody's getting run over. it's painfully obvious that classic blue link search is boring and it's hard work, and it leaves the human to make all the decisions in which one should I, let alone which link should I go to, but what should I buy? And that's been wrong for some time. You agree, Sylvia? Do you welcome this new world?
I think psychologically, it will be very difficult for people to let go, because you have to, at the end of the day, it boils down to trust. But
yeah,
it's like you lose a bit of control to give that control to a third party. And how do you trust it enough to release that control, which is so difficult? You've always in control of which blue link you're going to tap into, but you will not be as much controlling what your AI assistant will do so much, even though it knows you better than yourself.
Right. Giving control, delegating authority is a balance, and you have to give trust.
Yeah.
And that, I think this is going to be the year of trusting in the conversation. And I think as we start to use business agents, that we'll talk about in a minute, very slowly, we'll just fall into that trust pattern. It works. It works. So I'm going to skip over this next slide briefly, but in terms of old and new world, in the old model, human search, I'd say actually humans typed in a query, Google searched, and we had to make a choice. But now we're going to pass those queries to an agent to perform multiple searches and do the investigation for us. In the old world, pages competed in Google's index. Now we're going to see brands are evaluated. Can you even get into the conversation? And in ranking, decided visibility, it did. But eligibility is going to decide participation in the conversation. To what extent are you eligible, either off the back of trust signals, what people are saying about you? Do you have the appropriate content? And can you answer the questions? So let's start with a search. Yeah, go on, Sylvia.
On that note, Kate has, hi Kate, has asked a question that we have answered before. So she says, on the note of control, brands are obsessed with narrative, authenticity, experience. How does this big shift impact the idea of experience? Thinking luxury fashion.
It's a great question. I don't want to think luxury fashion, but if I have to, at the end of the day, who's right? It's the searcher, it's the customer, and it's what the customer believes. And the customer every time will trust fast content, first-hand, authentic, socially trusted content over anything the big brands will say every single time. Because why should I believe the big brand? I mean, the big brand, glossy message, yeah, wonderful. But at the end of the day, Sylvia, don't you want to talk to somebody or hear from somebody that's actually got it, bought it, used it?
And I think that when you are building that agentic, what is it called, assistant, or your business assistant, that you can build something. You will be able to bring something that has kind of your own, the company tone of voice, etc. So you will still be able to create something personalized. Maybe not very personalized at the beginning, but with time, I think you will be able to create something that will give that experience to the customer.
And you know what, Sylvia? You're so right. And I think people will end up having a better experience in the conversation than in that brand heavy website that's just talking marketing. Can I call it marketing fluff? Can I? I think I just said it. Too late. There's a lot of marketing fluff out there.
It's like having a concierge. I know that some of those luxury houses have a concierge. You have to pay a lot of money for that. And now you have it for free on your phone.
And that's a good point, Sylvia. Let's face it, if I was rich, I'd have a concierge. I'd have several concierges. So if we're talking luxury fashion, we're talking people who are used to having a concierge and paying for other people to go and buy them stuff. It's a natural segue.
Yeah,
that's genius, Sylvia. Why didn't I think of that?
Oh my God. It is.
Kate Stevens. Hello, Kate. Thank you for joining. So I thought you might like that one. Glad you could make it. Speaking of the world of luxury fashion and glamour. Anyway, let's do a little search. Okay, I typed this into Google, not AI mode, just Google. What are the best sources of information? I wanted the root sources on keyword cannibalization. I'm interested in ways to identify it, fix it, and prevent it. I want all of that. Chances are one website won't give me all of that, so I want the sources. Now, that's quite a long query. So I have a question for everybody, and Sylvia, you can answer this as well while we chat. Research has proven, and we've done the research, the longer queries are, especially using voice, the better the results are by a country mile. So let's see what you think of this. Given this, what's your attitude to voice search in conversational situations like that one? I use it occasionally. God, Sylvia, what do you do? You tell me.
John, I know you love it, and you've always been a very, you have always been vocal about how good it can be. I have to say that I'm quite boomer. I'm quite a boomer in that sense, but I have seen young people, as in 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, use conversation with their iPad while they're playing with their iPad. So much. It's kind of, I've got friends who have toddlers, etc., and 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 13-year-olds. They use it so much that it's a completely.
I'm terrified.
In behavior. Don't be.
I'm terrified for the kids, not for the search, because I knew this was going to happen anyway. I mean, they're just proving everything I said. They're just going to come along.
Exactly.
But yeah, the majority here use it occasionally, but I can see my use increasing. I use it all the time at home and private, 13%. I'm in that 13%. I haven't typed anything at home in about 8 months. Why? And also, here's a free tip for nothing. If anybody wants to get into using voice to have conversations, then there's an amazing platform. Let me know if you want it, and I'll send it to you. I don't want to broadcast other software, but you just whisper to it, and it AIs everything you're saying, and it turns it into a coherent sentence, and you can then have these free-flow conversations with the AI of your choice.
Oh,
Whisperflow. Anyway, more on that. So I actually did a bit of research. So before we go back to our search, I did some research on the average length of my prompts or questions in the past week. Okay, so I actually asked Dave, my AI assistant, who does anything and virtually everything. So, and he divided the responses into the short prompts, 10 to 25 words, typical working prompts, 60 to 100 words, and deep thinking collaborative prompts, 150 to 300 words. And that's just this past week. And that's an average week. I failed to see how I could do that without using voice. And I'll say again, the research is out there. The more you use voice for search, the better results are. And I tell you what, these LLMs are going to be steering us into voice conversations. As you said, Sylvia, it started with the 6-year-olds. So my query, I asked a question, that was 23 words in length. What are the best sources for information on keyword cannibalization? And I want to find out how to identify it, find it, and fix it. That's a big query. And in terms of the results, so I end up in AI Overview, where I'm exposed to 14 websites, 35 links, and 17 videos. Look at that. Recognize some of those, Sylvia? And then, who's that guy? Who's that guy now? Who's that guy? Who's that? It's thin, this one. Anyway, so then I click into AI mode to continue the conversation, and I haven't touched anything. Got 35 more websites and 16 more links. That's 117 touch points in that view alone. Why go anywhere else? This is where we need to be. What are the richness of the landscape? What does it look like? What are the features? How many doorways into my world can I open in here? That's where we need to be. And I think the message is for old school rank tracking, looking at position 80, those days are pretty much over because Google's taking it all away anyway. So the value is concentrated here. And this has so many ramifications. So our life is going to be made easier by personal agents. Now, as much as I wish, Sylvia, that the personal agents look like that, and I could just chat to them and they'd help me with it, it's not the case. It's not the case. It's not the case.
I would love Pikachu to be my assistant.
It'd be a great one, wouldn't it? I chat to Pikachu when there's nobody looking. But let's start with a quick question for everybody. and I appreciate you responding. Do you employ any form of personal agent? Okay, and what do you think of it? Now, this could be get ChatGPT to draw me an icon or a picture, or get Gemini to help me beautify a slide, or compare 3 products. What's right for me? This is going beyond search. This is getting advice. We're talking agentic here, and half the time you can't even see it. Okay, 35% so far, 33. Every day without fail, and my life is better. Where are you going with the answer, Sylvia? What would you say?
Every day without fail, and my life is better for it. I make more informed decisions.
Yeah. I want to know the 5% that said no, and I refuse to shift with the paradigm. I tell you what, guys, come with us. Let's shift with that paradigm. None of the above 32%. So it's kind of where we thought it was going to be. So thank you for responding to that. So back into the world of personal agents. It's not a tool. It's a layer between you and the web. It's a layer into which you can delegate, as Sylvia said, as you just said, authority and responsibility in exchange for trust. And in all fairness, it'll probably be in your browser, connected to all your apps, and you won't even know you're using it. It's going to sneak into your life gradually. And here's an example that I love to use. And this is using Comet browser. So search can be overwhelming. Chinese restaurants near Soho Square. Near Soho Square. Comes the map. Oh my God, it's like a fire hydrant. There's too much to process. It's an information overload. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, this browser has a built-in assistant, which I can ask questions. But better than that, it predicts the question I want to ask based on what I'm looking at. And I would never type this, but it's a suggestion. Suggest the best Chinese restaurants near Soho Square for an authentic versus Instagrammable experience with one clear recommendation each and price and ambience notes. And I tell you what, unlike some of the other agents, this one is on steroids. So in about 30 seconds, it does all of that, gives me the choice. It's suggested Youcher. It's already got my details plugged in. It's got my email address, my phone number, got everything. All I got to do is click yeah, done. And any correspondence will come through to my email address. And you get this is an agent, and you don't even know it's an agent. So that's the thing. Would you do this, Sylvia? Would you use this? Have you tried this restaurant?
I haven't tried it yet, no, but I think that kind of this use case is one that anyone could benefit from.
Yeah. And honestly, I used to dread it if like a client said, oh, should we go for a dinner? You imagine the organization.
Yeah.
Agent. Number one task to agent. And you know what? It does such a good job. I trust it. Next task, give it a little bit more. A little bit more trust, a little bit more. And that's what we're all going to do over the coming months. And then, Sylvia, we see stealth agents. I call them stealth agents appearing every week. So this, for your iPhone, other phones are available. You can download this, and this is coming on the 11th of March. And this is a mobile AI-powered browser with agent baked in that's going to act as your personal assistant and thinking partner. That's what they say. And it's going to learn your habits. It's going to learn your habits, and it will make suggestions. And apparently it's going to keep you, Sylvia, inspired. What do you make of that?
I hope it doesn't judge me.
I don't think it will. I think it'll make you spend money. And you and I were talking the other week. There's so much research done that proves that when agents and AI help that final purchase, people spend more money.
Yeah.
It's the upsell. It's the cross-sell.
I think once you're using it, and once it provides and it proves to you kind of to what extent it's going to be valuable to you, once you see that once, there's no going back.
100%. And using this, okay, 11th of March, I'm downloading this. I'm downloading it anyway, plus all the other 50 I've got. And as we delegate that authority and responsibility to these agents, we once used to connect, so we as searchers connected with brands, And we're going to have to adapt to all of this as emotion is taken out of this equation, because these agents don't care about marketing fluff.
Yeah.
So on the other end of the scale, we've got business agents. And we kind of talked about these in the last webinar when Google had recently announced the Universal Commerce Protocol, and it's going to give us business agents that you can claim. They can make direct offers and in AI checkout. So those three things. But a business agent is nothing more than a conversational experience within Google Search, Gemini, that allows any customer to chat with your brand. Now, you, Sylvia, I know you love to shop. You love clothes, good fashion. Genuinely, would you be lured into spending more money, do you reckon?
110%.
Yeah, I would. I would.
I mean, and someone who, I mean, as I said before, someone who can give you like discounts that you don't have to, can offer you a discount in that moment if you're a trusted customer or whatever, or some offer you an alternative to something that you're using. Oh, but don't you prefer, you know, this other, for example, lipstick that does this, or it's a similar shade, instead of you having to research.
Oh yeah. And your personal agent will know when you last purchased said lipstick. It will know that. It will know your frequency of purchase. And then, of course, the business agent, you know, through the MCP layer that we touched on last webinar, will have access to the loyalty database. So you can be just having a nice chat. Your agent knows that you probably need some new lipstick. And the business agent knows you're a customer. It gives you 10%, 20%. You want to buy it now? Yeah. And this will be the reality long before the end of this year.
You reckon? So quickly?
Yeah. So in the US, a lot of this, the business agents coming to the US first. So what's going to happen, Sylvia? You will log into the merchant center, and suddenly you will see something like this: the ability to claim your business agent. Be a part of conversational AI customer journeys. But you know what? We can prepare before this. So that's dropping in the US now, but it's going to take a few months. Once that is proven successful, it will quickly flip into the rest of the world. And the precursor to this was already tested in India, in the US, and Australia as well. So you'd say how your agent appears. You give it a welcome message, conversation starters, just like when we build GPTs. Give it a conversation starter. The logo, the coloring, all of that. And then you can get a little preview of what it's going to look like. But I'd say long before this. If you're in the UK, you need to build a GPT. You need to feed this with your website, your product information, and fill it with golden Q&As, what you want, handoff experience, all of that. You can test all of this. So when you go into the merchant center, you don't have to start at day zero. You literally got everything to push into it. That's pretty amazing.
All the data that you have from sales and support from your company, it's going to be crucial to use it here at this point.
Yeah. I mean, this really is a game changer. I think it's super exciting. So what do we know about these today? Well, simply put, we've got several brands there in the US who are trialing, claiming their agent. So that's Lowe's, Michaels, Poshmark, Reebok. I've been using it for the past couple of months. Assuming this is successful, and the data already says, yes, it is, it's going everywhere. And the good news is we can start already looking at the new data attributes in the merchant center. I mean, it won't be there now, but some of them might be. But these are the sorts of things we need to start thinking about. And certainly if I was a brand, I'd get maybe my top 50 best-selling products, build a spreadsheet, and then start to think about some of these attributes, like the common questions. And the common questions and answers: is it waterproof? Yes. Oh, no. Go beyond that. Yes, it's waterproof, you know, for about 30 minutes of heavy rain or 2 hours of very light rain. But, you know, we need to go into detail, guys. Ideal use cases, contextual descriptions, and product comparison points, compatible accessories. All these things really thought about, but all things. So if you're going to buy something, Sylvia, it's a question you might ask. Maybe you buy a new backpack or something. What are the accessories for this?
Absolutely. Does it go, what does it go with?
Yeah. So by putting all this information in, we are enabling conversation. We are rich, literate, and the danger is, if somebody has a conversation with your business agent, or not even your business agent, can't find an answer, is very rapidly going to turn, or your personal agent. Remember, your personal agent is not having a conversation with one business agent, it's multiple. And if this business agent here fails to have that answer about compatible accessories, it's going to switch to the next one that does. That's the reality.
Yeah.
And it's clear already. The influence is clear. These are the later results from the start of this year or from 2025. So AI influenced 20% of all orders in Cyber Week 2025. And that's substantial. And retailers with those agents grew sales 32% faster. I mean, there are so many really good stats like this that every business should be paying attention to. And I remember you found an article recently, you sent it to me, and yes. I lost that one. Can you remember what it was?
Let me see. You continue to talk.
You see if you can find that while I move into the what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Jay, concierge would be a brilliant product. Yes, Jay. Patent that, my friend. Patent that. What are we going to do now? What can we as SEOs do in this Wild West paradigm shift? Well, there are a number of things, but you need to bear in mind that the preparation for this is less about optimizing for rankings. Yeah, go on, Sylvia.
Yes, the article that I shared with you, almost from the beauty industry website, which is quite an authoritative site. Almost half of the UK consumers would trust AI to shop for them, survey reveals.
Almost half.
Including paying for the items, they say. So I'm going to share this.
Yeah. Drop that in. That's super interesting.
For anyone who needs to.
And to be honest, to actually build your own assistant using OpenAI and ChatGPT, embed it into your website. If you've got all the information together, it's like a one-day job. It really is. It really is. So I think it's worth remembering that while many of these agentic commerce features that we're talking about, Sylvia, some are in the US, some aren't, some are coming, they're in pilot phases. What we can do is we can start to prepare by strengthening three things: the data, the content, and the trust signals. Those three: data, content, and trust signals. These are the three things AI agents rely upon when they're making decisions. And given this, any preparation that we can do now is going to reduce friction as agent interfaces emerge. Lots of agent interfaces. So here's a 5-step plan that we've put together. Things that we can go away and do now. So we're talking about structure, structuring business reality for machines. And that doesn't mean marketing fluff. Content has got to be conversationally legible. We've got to be eligible for the conversation. We can think about preparing our commerce infrastructure. And then as this starts to roll out and we get learnings from the US, we can learn from these agent conversations. Let's just go through these. Okay, I'm just going to pick out a couple, 1 point maybe from each one. So the goal here is to translate human value that we've always done with that marketing content into structured, decision-ready knowledge. So we do need to do some auditing, product and commercial data, so it can be cleanly and clearly interpreted by AI systems. Maintenance, lifestyle information. Think about the sort of stuff people are going to ask in conversation. What do people ask when they go in the shop that they don't online? Think about those conversations. I'm sure if you're going to buy something, Sylvia, you want to like really get into the weeds of what you're buying and why you're spending 300 quid on something.
And people also, especially Gen Z and all that, they they need a lot of information about any product that they are buying, where it's coming from, kind of everything around that, everything surrounding sustainability, for example. Having that information, it's going to be key for many people, more and more.
Totally agree. And anyone that's sitting around now really not doing anything about this needs to start thinking about these additional packs of information, whether it's readiness for your website, readiness to feed into the MCP, whatever that is. But this is conversation, or this is content necessary for the conversation. Second point, okay? Content needs to be conversationally legible. Okay, why do we do this? Because agents extract meaning, not marketing language. And we can help by implementing these recommendations. And okay, I'm picking on the third one there. So, okay, I'm not going to mention any names, but we work with a lot of big brands and affiliates that like to compare products. And we always said to them, well, you should have some video content. And it proves that you're authentic and it's real. So if you are having video conversations with customers, say, why did you buy that jacket? Okay, encourage them to talk about the features. Well, I really love this like two-way zip and this double button system and all. Yeah, get some detail into this content, different to what everybody else is talking about. Real product attributes, because when people are dropping money, they want to hear those attributes. They want to. It's like I got this obsession with like everyday carry bags and stuff. I tell you what, the more attributes I see, Sylvia, the more information, the more money I'll drop on it. And the happier I am when it comes. It's all about trust. So the next one, this is number three. Conversational eligibility. Well, why do you do that? Because before your brands can be recommended anyway, it's got to be trusted. And what's been said about your brand in the last week alone on social media and forums and Reddit and elsewhere, that can make all the difference to whether you stay in the conversation. And to this I say, fast content, first-hand, authentic, social, trusted, the wonderful marketing. Yeah, brilliant. Leave that on your website, but also contain information that's real and genuine from real people. You agree with that?
100%. It doesn't. I can see content writers starting to panic, saying, "Oh, all our creativity and everything will be taken off of us." No, you can present the information in a very nice, very flowery, if you want, way. You just need to put that information there first and be as meaty as possible. The more that you describe something, the better, or the more accurately that you describe it. What adjectives you want to use, that's up to you. You won't lose your job, or well, not yet.
You're absolutely right. And have your glorious marketing page, but you know what? You want the details linked to here, and we'll go into great detail, and we'll include some video interviews with customers who are using these products.
Exactly.
You've seen it work. I've seen it work. It works. It works. So moving on to number 4 out of 5 as we sort of come towards the closing. And so guys, any questions, drop them in there because we've got a few minutes left and then we've got time for questions. Okay, commerce infrastructure. Why? Well, because agentic transactions will rely on these structured commerce systems, and it's important to review all of those things there. Product feed accuracy. How often do we see product feeds that are a bitty and a bit missing, and they're kind of those aren't going to work anymore. You know, all of those things. Inventory consistency across all channels. How often do you go to one channel, see one inventory over here, and go to a different channel, and it's a different one? Oh, because this one's 4 hours behind that one. That ain't going to work, because these social surfaces are coming into the AI surfaces. It's all part of the conversation. It's nothing but a conversation. Nothing but a conversation. And then finally, as we start to use this and see this, and our business agent is having conversation with people or personal agents without people even knowing, we need to listen to those conversations, because this is the people also ask on steroids. These are the actual, imagine Imagine somebody has a long conversation about your brand. It gets down to the final two and they decide no. You'll actually know for the first time why somebody's gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to end up, Sylvia, with a lot more really rich information, I think. But we're just going to get through this patch first.
Absolutely. That was the first thing that I thought about. You are going, if we can get the data behind those those decisions, we're going to learn so much about the whole market, but about our own company probably, and what we're missing, what we are not. It's huge. It's very valuable data. That
it's literally gold dust.
Yeah,
it's gold dust, and I can't wait. For me, this is going to change everything that we do as SEOs, because we will be the curators of this. We will be the responsible for monitoring the ebb and flow of these conversations and translating this into content strategy. And that is the future of SEO in 2026.
And I think it will make us collaborate more with other departments. Like, for example, I know some SEOs here personally that are attending this, but they are, for example, they can't access their Google Merchant Center because there's another department is in charge with that. So I think we're gonna need to find ways of collaboration with those other departments, because communication and because of the consistency of the data is going to be key.
Yeah, let's break down those silos. We've been saying it for years, but we really have to. Oh, Lauren, it's like you could see the next slide, Lauren. Thank you. What's the best way to measure conversational presence? Oh, I tell you what, here's a way you can do it. So you need to monitor visibility in and throughout. So let's be clear on one thing. When I go to ChatGPT, to Gemini, to Perplexity, to Claude, whatever, when I go to that and I'm looking for something and the results come up, that's not where I stop. I don't care what's on there. That's the start of a conversation. So your ability to determine your presence across the conversation is critical. And here's an example that I was actually looking at yesterday. And I thought it'd be super interesting. Just put this in at the last minute because I knew Lauren would ask this question. So we're looking for an office space, a desk. I mean, I have a WeWork space in London. Of course, Sylvia, you're in the nice office in Brighton. But so in looking at the questions people might ask in relation to an office space, we divided it down into 5 possible conversations that you might have. So we've got the group of people who, and you can kind of see it in the key there, the group of people who need their first proper workspace. Yeah, just started up, now we need a workspace. Or I've outgrown where I'm working now, or I need flexibility without risk, or my business needs operational space, or I don't want full-time, I just need professional access. So these are different conversations. And in each one of these conversations, there will be an ebb and a flow and a direction, and the winners will be the brands that are in the most relevant conversations the most often. So I thought Regis is going to win this. Okay, no, they don't. Who's in more conversations more often than anyone? Tally Workspace. No word of a lie. I went here and what I found was amazing. So these are in. So if you're looking for your first proper workspace, you'll find them in a conversation. Regis, no, they're not there. So this is what we need to do. Look at the conversations people are having and ask, to what extent is my brand maintaining presence throughout that conversation? Wow. Exactly, Sylvia, because these are multi-turn, 4 or 5 more. So then we can drill down. So these guys had really good performance. So I thought, where was it?
Sorry, John. Yeah, let me stop there. For those of you here who don't know what we're looking at, this is our own platform. This is Pi, where you can really monitor and measure that conversational presence. And through Pi, you can have it holistically with the rest of your SEO metrics, of your keywords, etc.
100 marketing points for you, Sylvia. Very well. Yeah, there was me just rattling off, assuming everyone knew, but of course they don't. So what we're now doing, I'm drilling down on that one business, Tally Workspace. Never heard of them. Why are they doing well? I can tell you why they're doing well. because their website is structured in such a way and connected together in such a way their content feeds into more conversations. Mwah, beautifully done, those guys. But there is a little bit of inconsistency in the number of citations over time. So then we drill down into sentiment, which we know is fundamental. So the main referring domain for the content is themselves, which is great. Well done. But when you start to compare others, they are getting more referring domains talking about them in the same conversation. So immediately as we go through these 3 screens, we can start to see, number 1, we're doing well for 3 out of 4. That's 3, that's 4. We're doing well for 3 out of 5 conversations. There are 2 that we're not in. We know what content to shape. We know we need other people talking about us, so we can target those who talk others. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we had slightly stronger sentiment, so we can start to reach out to those who are already talking about us and start to shape that narrative, and we can see exactly who's talking about us and what they're saying. And I think that, for me, gives me such confidence in determining the extent to which we are in at the start and throughout the conversation. So hopefully, Lauren, that answers your question, which brings us to the final poll question of the day. And when this one comes up, this is for anybody who wants a demo of the platform, particularly this LLM capability, or in fact, any information on how we, Sylvia, myself, Pi, can help brands prepare for agentic commerce and the conversation in general, because it ain't going anywhere. Yes, so we've got a few people. Yes, so once more, that's rather nice. That's right. Don't be shy, everyone. Come on, we won't bite. If you want to know more about this, just hit that button. Nobody can see. Nobody can see. So yeah, actually quite a few people, which is wonderful. So in the we've only got 3 minutes left. We've only got 3 minutes left. So I'm wondering, Sylvia, do you have any final thoughts on this for the world?
Oh God, John, I don't know.
Sorry,
That's
you
put me on the spot. What about you?
Okay, my final thoughts are: this is reality. This is not hot air. Every single thing we've predicted, except one thing I predicted 10 years ago in relation to online, has come true. Now, one thing was the disappearance of apps. Anyway, thank you, John Barkett, for reminding me. But this is happening faster than we ever imagined. And I would say I would focus on those 5 action point slides at the end, and I will start building out, even if it's a basic GPT, to understand what sort of conversations my brand is going to be having. Because you can feed the same information into it: website information, supporting information, product, stock, data, etc. Start to train your virtual agent before you can claim your real one. Or if you've got presence in the US, be watching that merchant center and start thinking about those extra characteristics that we need to start describing. That's my final takeout, Sylvia. What about you?
I think we've been talking about conversations for so long. At some point it got a bit hollow. Talking about conversations became a bit of a hollow word. Everyone was talking about it, but no one was doing anything. And now this is the moment, the realization of, yes, there's conversations not only on Google with the AI mode, not only there's conversations with other LLMs, we're going to have conversations with Agentic. So it's the moment now to start building that presence. And to me, the best way is to start monitoring your presence using Pi alongside the rest of your your keywords, your traditional keywords, which still stand, and you still have to optimize for those. But the way is to have everything together using the same platform, and we do that very well.
You do it so much better than me, Sylvia. So thank you, as always, for contributing to the fastest hour in human history. And to everyone who's dialed in, all of you, there are so many there, new friends, old friends, people we haven't met before. Thank you. And we will see you all on the next one. But in the meantime, reach out, connect up with Sylvia and myself on LinkedIn, and let's continue the conversation. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sylvia.